Let's jump right into this explainer, because today we are unpacking an absolutely wild story. Imagine being the literal peak of human strength, an overpowered martial arts god. You fall asleep, and when you finally wake up, bam, 2,000 years have passed. Humanity has completely abandoned a ruined Earth, they've moved out to the stars, and they've replaced ancient martial arts with quantum technology, androids, and massive space fleets. That is exactly the cinematic, time-skipping journey we're breaking down today. We're doing a chronological recap of this brilliant narrative where a supreme ancient being clashes head-on with a high-tech sci-fi future. Let's get right into it.
They locked me in here. Don't open this unless you want to die. Talk about a hook, right? This ominous warning is found deep underground on an uninhabitable, totally abandoned Earth. The setup here is just fascinating. We follow a desperate, pretty much broke bounty hunter crew called the Cess Devils. They're led by Captain Tang Sarang, working alongside a veteran named Robert and an android named Sanja. So they detect this massive life force. And honestly, despite that terrifying ancient warning written on a giant gate, Captain Tang is broke enough that she just ignores it. She opens the door, crossing her fingers for a massive payday.
Section 1. Awakening the Supreme Demon, from Earth to the Stars. So the crew's intrusion triggers this massive wave of energy, and it wakes up Lee Mag-jin. He floats up, wrapped in this terrifying purple aura, literally promising death, right before he suddenly just drops completely unconscious. Turns out this world-ending threat hasn't eaten a single thing in 2,000 years, and the crew hilariously subdues him with, of all things, a simple plate of hot dogs.
The really crucial point here is this incredible clash of eras. On one hand, you have the bounty hunters relying on galactic sci-fi technology. We're talking energy drives, combat androids, quantum stealth rings, and on the other hand, you have Lee with his ancient martial arts solutions. He is a total fish out of water. A perfect, hilarious example of this happens a bit later in the story. He literally steps out of a spaceship directly into the vacuum of space without a shield just to save a girl. He nearly suffocates, his eyes are turning purple, veins are bulging, all simply because he has absolutely zero concept of what outer space actually is. His primal reactions against deep space reality are absolute comedy gold.
Moving right along to Section 2, Brawling in Space, the Tavern Incident. The crew visits a space tavern in the Pleiades. While Lee's busy just inhaling a literal mountain of hot dogs, these modern space thugs walk in. Now they are from the Heavenly Demon sect, which completely shocks Lee because that was his sect 2,000 years ago, and now they're just acting like petty bullies. The Red Wolf squad leader, Sanjin Muok, starts throwing his weight around, intimidating everyone in the room and tracking bounties.
2,000. That number is everything here. It represents the 2,000 years of pure, unfiltered martial arts mastery that Lee possesses. So when the squad leader tries to use this flaming demonic claw technique on Lee, Lee doesn't even flinch. With his hands literally still in his pockets, he casually dodges their maximum power attacks. Then he just pats the squad leader on the head and effortlessly crushes him into the stone floor, actually scolding him for having crude technique. He casually swats away an elite futuristic hit squad like they're a bunch of annoying flies.
Section 3. The 8-foot fighting ghost. Enter Elena. This brings us to a massive escalation. Out of nowhere, a legendary, battle-crazed bounty hunter drops in to block a literal ship-killing blast. But Elena isn't there to save our crew. No, she wants a bounty they accidentally picked up, a runaway idol named Hua Ren.
Elena is an absolute battle maniac. When Lee refuses to hand over the girl, Elena attacks. And she pushes her internal sci-fi energy drive past impossible limits. She goes from 100% to 125%, and then all the way up to 190%. She physically transforms, growing extra arms and wielding 8 glowing swords. She looks like a literal god of war. But Lee? He effortlessly identifies every single ancient technique she throws at him, from the chaotic storm sword to the dog-beating stick, and he just dodges all of them.
But then, Lee finally gets tired of her recklessness. He realizes she's completely being swallowed by her own inner demons and desires. So, to stop her, he manifests a legendary technique called the Heart Sword. With a single, godlike swing, he completely vaporizes her entire spaceship right in the middle of the fleet. A single strike. Elena only survives because her insanely powerful mother, the West Heaven Sword Matron, intervenes at the very last second. This moment really cements the fact that Lee is operating on a scale this sci-fi universe just isn't ready for.
Section 4. Mystery of Manhwa, a deserted planet. Let's pivot the narrative into a mystery, shall we?
To figure out exactly why so many people are hunting this idol, Hua Rin, the crew travels to her home planet, Mount Hua. But when they arrive, they find a completely empty city. I mean, the lights are on, the shops are open, there are tools just left on the ground, but absolutely zero life signs. It's a total ghost town. So the crew starts poking around and discovers this incredibly creepy, looping anomaly. During the day, the planet is completely empty, but at sunset, the 10,000 citizens suddenly blip right back into existence. They go about their daily routines like wind-up dolls, completely unaware of the crew. And then, at night, the people vanish again, and the streets are swarmed by a murderous robotic army. The only person who doesn't vanish is Huaren's father, the Sword Sovereign. He just sits on a throne, literally burning away his soul and his internal energy in a desperate, corrupted state, all just to protect his daughter from this looping nightmare.
When the sun sets, the crew gets attacked by thousands of these terrifying robots, but these aren't your normal droids. They are Iron Jiangshi. To bypass the universal laws of robotics that prevent AI from harming humans, this evil scientist used dead human brains, the missing citizens of Mount Hua, as the actual processors for these primitive combat droids. It's a horrifying reality that immediately shoots the stakes right through the roof.
Section 5. Attack of the Cyborgs. The Kidnapping. This leads to a really devastating turn of events. While they're trying to figure out this bizarre time loop, Captain Tang Sering is suddenly, and illegally, force teleported right off the planet. She gets separated from Lee and the rest of her crew, waking up deep in an underground facility on Mount Hua's moon, Genta.
Up on Genta, she comes face to face with the mad cyborg scientist behind this whole nightmare, Count Rachel Archimond. And this moment, it proves just how fierce Captain Tong really is. The Count paralyzes her central nervous system, straps her to a table, and plans to wipe her mind to turn her into an Iron Jiangshi. But Tong is from the legendary Sichuan Tong clan. She actually forces her paralyzed body to move anyway. She unleashes this deadly, highly acidic pigeon blood poison directly into the cyborg's chest. It's an incredibly brutal last stand, where she tragically loses her arm to his android, sacrificing her own body just to fight back.
But just as the Count is about to finish her off, alarms start blaring. Li Mag-jin has arrived. And you guys, he is furious. He flies straight down the orbital shaft, completely obliterating thousands of Iron Jiangshi in mere seconds, tearing through the underground facility's maximum security doors like they're made of wet paper. He steps into the lab, hands still in his pockets, and sees Tang Sering bleeding on the table. Which brings us to the final confrontation. I mean, how do you stop a god who has nothing left to lose? Count Rachel Archimond quickly realizes he is completely outmatched. Lee uses an ancient void manipulation technique to just slice off the Count's arm in retaliation. Completely desperate, the Count overloads his internal energy drive past the absolute safe limit. His mechanical body begins to glow with this blinding light, initiating a massive self-destruct sequence meant to take Lee and the entire facility down with him. Section 6. Resetting the timeline. So, what happens next? A gigaton-scale electromagnetic explosion erupts from the moon, completely wiping out the facility. It's basically a massive nuke. But the real twist lies in the aftermath, and this new technology introduced called entropy inversion. The leaders of the Heavenly Demons sect are observing all this from afar, and they reveal that Count Rachel was actually experimenting with entropy inversion, a forbidden technology that's capable of resetting time itself and creating multiple universes.
And that leads directly to this mind-bending cliffhanger. I'll send him back to before they met. This is enough. We'll all share it. After the explosion, the narrative seemingly just rewinds. Suddenly, the crew is back on their old ship. They're alive, arms are completely intact, and they're complaining about being broke again. Captain Tang says they only have one single sausage left. Lee stops them from fighting over it, telling them they will all just share it. It's this incredibly peaceful, mundane moment that suggests the timeline has literally been inverted.
Which leaves us with this super provocative question. Did the Supreme Heavenly Demon literally just alter the universe, reversing a gigaton explosion and wiping out a tragic timeline, also he could sit with his new friends and share a plate of food? It's just the perfect blend of high-stakes sci-fi action and this ancient god's comical obsession with simply enjoying a good meal. And that is exactly where this incredible arc leaves us, absolutely desperate to know what happens next. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, keep exploring, and I'll catch you on the next one.